Do you ever find yourself in those situations where you just aren't very motivated? You know, this week is actually one of those weeks for me. I just haven't been all that motivated. I've been a little bit sick. Last week we had friends in town, kind of back to back, and it was a ton of fun. But we also went, and I think I just wore myself out. Physically, we just did a lot, and emotionally, we had a lot of conversations, which were all super great. But sometimes I find myself in these situations where I don't know, I'm just not motivated to do much. And maybe you can relate. I don't know. I feel I've been in these situations throughout my life, kind of up and down, and I think you can kind of look at it, it's like, yeah, that's just life, and it's impossible to be 100% on all the time, for me anyway, and keep up with that pace. And you know, as I kind of looking at things and wanting to try really hard to wrap up these videos, this was a goal that I set, and almost feeling kind of like I haven't reached my goal because I haven't been producing as much as I've wanted to produce for myself and even, you know, for my family. You know, being sick doesn't help that. And this week just feeling kind of run down and out of it, and in the heat too, you know, kind of working in the heat when you maybe have a fever or kind of a head cold, and it's just not fun. But I've been trying to kick myself out of it, and this morning, actually, I was reading a book to Rhodes. It's Oh, the Places You Will Go, Dr. Seuss. You've probably read it, heard of it. I actually haven't read it until here. It was here, so we read it, and it's funny enough, like in the smallest places, things that you find motivation. And I read this today and I actually felt somewhat motivated to get up and do something. You know, one of these pages talks about being in a lurch and being in a slump, and how when you're there, it's not easy to unslump yourself. And I would agree with that wholeheartedly. And there are some other little gems in here too. The whole time I was reading it, just thinking, wow, like this would be a really great, you know, commencement speech or something like that at a graduation. And they're simple words and they're simple thoughts, but I think there's a lot of truth to that. And I think a lot of times we can find truth in the most simple things, in the most simple conversations. And I look at people in my life that I look to for motivation, the people that motivate me, and you know, sometimes they're not, you know, people that have just accomplished, quote unquote, everything in the world. They're people that are just really good at what they do, and they have a positive attitude. And that's one thing that I hope to be. You know, I hope that I can be that for my kids and my family, and I'm not always that. You know, the truth is I'm not. And but my goal is to be, and I think that's a good goal to shoot for. And you know, I find motivation through my kids. You know, when I look at them, and especially Rhodes, at his age, you know, he's learning to walk through his emotions and how he feels about things and how he does things. And I find motivation in the way that he thinks about things, and that how he picks himself up whenever he feels down or he feels like he can't accomplish something. And that's really special to me. And if you have kids, maybe you can relate to that. And this week and last couple weeks, I also watched a couple movies. You know, one was Free Solo, which I recommend. I wish I would have seen it in the theater because it's a beautiful film. The other movie was Dawn Wall, and both of those, man, those guys have such motivation to reach their goal. And despite where their journey is taking them, man, that journey is full of things telling them that they can't accomplish what their goal is, but they keep going. There's a big mental game there, and I think that's the biggest part about getting through slumps, and doing that is a mental game, and also surrounding yourself with people that are going to encourage you. And I know I wouldn't be here either if it wasn't for Stevie and the way that she encourages me. And even, you know, other times in my life with my friends and my family and places that I've been, I wouldn't be in the place that I am now if I didn't have friends that encouraged me to do the things that were best for me and the things that were right. But with all that said, I have motivation. I have motivation to do this, to talk to the camera, to talk about it. I have motivation to, you know, keep going. I'm getting better. I'll be healthy by the end of the week, I hope. And hopefully that'll launch me into getting back into accomplishing some of the goals that I want to accomplish for myself. And if you're feeling unmotivated, like how do you get out of it? How do you move past some of those things, those blocks and those barriers in your life whenever you're feeling like you don't have motivation? You know, what are some tricks that you have that might help you get through that? I'd love to know, because I'm always learning. So if you want to leave those comments, leave them below. Have that conversation. But if not, maybe it's one of those situations where you're feeling motivated but people around you aren't. So how do you also motivate them whenever maybe they're feeling down or unmotivated? And I want to encourage myself to do that as well. I don't know, just a few thoughts there. I didn't accomplish what I wanted to accomplish this week, and that's okay. We'll get to it. It's not a race. We are on the downward plane of our journey here, and maybe that's part of my feelings about being demotivated. It's just like, I'm looking at the time we have, and it's not that much compared to how much we've been here. And I know that may sound silly, but yeah, I don't know. In some ways it makes me sad, but I'm also very happy to get back home to my friends. So with that said, have a good weekend. Have a good week. Motivate others. Encourage others. Be kind. Be loving. And that's all that we can do. Hopefully next week we'll have some more videos coming out, and look forward to that. Cheers.